the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is Podcast. I'm excited to welcome the hosts of the Love Is Podcast, Kim Sorrelle. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guests.
I'm doing great. Thank you, Neil. And I am excited about our guests. I'm excited about what they do in and outside of what we're going to talk about today. But we have Cassie and Jonathan Byram, and they together have done so many things, but they're musical. I would like an invitation from you guys. I would like to do the Christmas sing-along if I can this year at your house. That would be so fun because I know you got to be doing it because Cassie, your husband, Jonathan's dad was Moses in
That's
Prince of
right.
Egypt. So that's pretty
right.
cool. So, and he's done a lot of things. So a talented family, acting, singing, doing songwriting, everything that you do for kids. I mean, you guys just do so much. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming to our show.
Oh, it's a pleasure and a
That's
privilege.
really nice. Thanks,
We're
Kim.
excited to be here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, great. And one more thing before we really get into 47 days with Jesus is that Jonathan, are you a father? Is that
I
correct?
am. Yeah, I've got 2 little boys, 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, and they're nuts, and it's awesome, and I love it. Yeah. And I have
So
an
what's-
amazing wife. And
Yeah, that's nice too. That's
Yeah.
good
Guess
to
what
hear.
that makes me?
Right, that's what I was going to say. What's more important then is that Cassie, you're a grandmother, which is
I'm
the
Right.
greatest job in the world, isn't it?
It's the most fun job that you ever get. Being Gramala, that's my name. Gramala, sort of we took off on the whole thing of my
Yeah, I love that. I love
Mamala, yeah, Mamala site, Mamala media. But yeah, I'm Gramala and Amic Moses is Papala. So yeah, we have fun with that. And the kids are great.
I
So
love
fun.
it.
So
I
fun.
love it. Yeah, so here you are, mother and son, and you get to play mother and son. What
Yeah.
was that like?
Pretty amazing. Really a gift. I'm going to start with that. Honestly, out of, how God is, out of nowhere, out of just his love for us and just surprises us with things. And this was a surprise and really special in that sense, like you just said, Kim, in that it's mother and son playing mother and son for the first time ever in film or television as Jesus and Mary.
Wow.
So we got to make history together. It's kind of fun.
And how did this project come about? Tell us.
Well, I can
Jonathan,
share
you're
about
better.
that. Because yeah, I got involved actually earlier on, and I was called one day by a lady here in town who does vocal production, and she helped with the Sister Act movies, and she sung on a bunch of different films, and she called me and just asked me to sing a song demo. Just some composer that she was working with was working on a musical, and it was about Jesus, and they just needed someone to sing these song demos so they could just hear what it sounded like and maybe rewrite it or whatever. And I get calls like that like on a fairly regular basis. I'm a professional singer, and that's like what my work generally is. And so I went in and sang a song demo, and then a few months later she calls me again and says, "Hey, there's another song for this project. Would you come in and sing it?" Great, yeah, come in and sing it. A few months later, same thing. A few months later, same thing. And then the next call is, "Jonathan, this project that you've been singing for, it's going to be a movie. They're going to make it." And I'm like, "What?" Because so often these projects that I get to sing demos for, it gets workshopped, it gets put on a shelf eventually, and it just things, all these projects that people develop, but this one's like getting made, and I was like, amazing, that's so cool. And she says, "We love your voice." The producer, the director, they love your voice. And are you interested in playing Jesus on camera, actually playing the role? I was like, oh my goodness, you're gonna have to get me an acting coach. And but yes, I'm open to it. And they agreed. They got me an acting coach. They loved working with me, through the audition process, and so that's my story of how the movie got made, of how I got involved with it. And then the next call was, "Hey, do you think your mom would play Mary?" Um, and Darlene Koldenhoven, this lady who was producing all the vocals who I was talking about, she knows my mom through the singing world, and so, but yeah, so she just maybe she asked me to see if I'd be okay with it or something. But I told her, you know, call Cassie, call my mom. Yeah, because I thought that'd be really cool. Um, yeah, so that's my story. That's how I got involved with the movie.
Yeah,
And
Darlene is
actor.
a good friend of ours from past. My husband Amick and I have been uh, in entertainment for a very long time, both as singers as well. And so Darlene has done, we've done several projects with her. So once she got Jonathan involved, it just kind of came to her that, hey, why not? Let's bring Cassie in. Let's see if everybody's good with her being mama and, being Mary. And it's as simple as that, really. That's how it worked out.
It's so cool. I love the story, and I love that they asked you, Jonathan.
Yeah, right.
Like you got to give your permission, and it would have been a whole different thing if you would have said, I don't know that she's right for the part. She's my
Yeah.
mother and all, but that
Yeah.
would be a little awkward, probably.
No one could have been better. It was, yeah, totally
Yeah.
perfect. And
Thanks,
we had
Yes,
fun
so
working
this
together.
project is so different. It's such a different way to present the story.
Yeah.
And so whoever came up with it, kudos to them, because it makes it sheds a whole different light on it, I guess. I
Yeah, I
feel
agree
like
with
it
you.
brings back then to today.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a really cool team. Roland Jacks is the executive producer. He's like the force behind this movie, making it happen from, in every way. And then the team that he assembled with Emilio Palame, who he collaborated with on a past film, like a supremely creative and skilled person, musically, creatively, dramatically. And then another partner, David Gattel, with whom he co-directed the film and co-wrote it. That threesome really was the creative force and just power force behind it all. And yeah, the unique approach to it, where it's modern day, this family going through some real stuff, and then with interspersed with actual, like, period piece moments portraying Jesus's story, and the way it reverberates and connects and resonates with the present day stuff. It's really cool. I mean, it affected me when I saw it, because I didn't really see the modern day stuff until I saw the movie, because I only saw the Jesus part of it, and that was powerful enough just to be part of that, and to see what was going on with that while it was being made, and to dive into the character and all that. But then to see it all pieced together, edited really well, um, by that team, and yeah, it's really cool.
Wow. And working together, was it hard always working with your mom every day on set, like the whole process? Was that a little bit of a challenge, because always working with family members, it can get a little, different than normal going to work.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
the good news is I wasn't there every day. So Jonathan got a lot of breaks from me. So, but
No,
I
working with
tried
my
to, just be the actress and not the mama as much.
Yeah, and you are a really good actress, and
Uh,
that was, I mean, part of the awesome part of this experience for me. I already told you guys I'm not really an actor until, like, well, now I am, I guess. But all this training I got, and then being on set with really experienced actors, such as my mom, who has way more experience, and has had a career with a lot of roles in it. My career has been purely music, essentially, with a couple of just random on stage things and camera things. But yeah, like, it upped my game to be with someone like my mom, who was like crying, you know, very present with her feelings. And then other people I got to work with too, who were just like, brought a lot of depth to their roles and challenged me to do the same, and even like helped me find more depth as like they reacted to me with such like truth. Yeah, it was really cool experience.
Wow,
Great with my mom.
that is so cool. That's so cool. 47 Days with Jesus is it's just so well done. And you're right, Jonathan. Your mom is a really good actress.
Hmm.
Thank you.
But you, sir,
Thank you.
are a very good actor.
Thanks.
And
Yes.
so you just mentioned the emotional stuff, right? I mean,
Mm.
because you're going through the last 47 days of Jesus' life
Right.
and through the crucifixion and whatever. I mean, the hardest stuff to watch. And it's portrayed in a way though that's so kind of family friendly, not like the Passion or something like that, but
Right. Yeah.
portrayed in a real way, but more family friendly. So when you saw your mom get emotional, did you just want to walk over and give her a hug, or what was it like to see? And Cassie, you too with Jonathan.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was so nervous about doing a good job. Yeah, I wasn't that present with like, oh, it's my mom, you know. But yeah, I mean, but it helped me embody the role more for sure. And yeah.
Yeah, I remember that first day of filming for me, my first day of filming. It wasn't your first day, but where we had that first scene. And you know, when you do a film, you don't do things in sequence. It's not like, you know, you're doing it, the timeline for the film isn't necessarily the way it's filmed. So my first day, we jumped into a scene where Mary is notified of the presence of her son as being resurrected by his presence. He's there. And you know, biblically that is correct. She was a part of that. And so for her to see him for the first time in his resurrected form after having just experienced the death of her son, it was a very emotional scene, a very emotional moment. And for me, it was easy to embody. And but for John, I think Jonathan was a bit surprised. I remember that day when he taps my shoulder and he turns me around and I see him for the first time, and the emotion that just wells up, and then it affected him.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
Yeah.
it was quite a moment. It was very interesting. And that was our first moment on film together. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. So what were you most surprised about doing this film? Like what did you learn from both of you guys
mm,
in this
mm.
film?
Well, for me, it was really going in depth about Mary. And I know it's interesting how, you know, the Protestant evangelical church, we don't focus on Mary very much. But so to get to really dive deep and explore, well, who was this person? And then it just was so obvious. It came to me so quickly that the why she was chosen, it had, you know, God, who is omniscient, all knowing. Of course, he knew who she was. He knew her character. Even at that point when she is told that she is pregnant with the Son of God, he knew not only who she was in that moment, but who she was going to be and what kind of character she was going to maintain in her resilience, in her persistence, in her perseverance, that she was the one that was going to be able to handle this entire journey. And it's, you know, you think about it, it's a journey that starts with just this, the Magnificat, right? This amazing journey of wow, this Messiah that she's been raised to hear about, and she's going to carry this Messiah into the world, and then all the way to the journey to watching him tortured and die. God knew this was the woman who could handle this. So that was a surprising, you know, that was a surprising journey for me, something that I probably would never have really dived into if I hadn't had this role.
It's so cool, Mom. I haven't heard you share like all those details. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It is so cool. What about you, Jonathan? What
Yeah,
was
mine's kind of similar. The moment that sums it up for me is the moment in the Garden of Gethsemane when Judas is walking towards Jesus, or you know, I'll say me because that's kind of how I was, you know, I was experiencing it. I've thought about Jesus a lot. I've been raised in the church. I'm a believer, so this is all very real to me. But I've thought about the lessons, you know, that maybe get preached on, you know, around these moments, like, you know, what Jesus was doing, going to the cross, and his you know, his willingness to be obedient to the point of death, and that I get to benefit from that, and that he conquers death. But I don't think I ever hear about, and this is what I got to explore, what was Jesus actually thinking when he saw his friend walking towards him about to betray him? I think that was a point of exploration for me, because I got to because I had to be in that moment and like live it.
Mhm.
And I don't do that kind of work as a follower of Jesus often. I just think, okay, how does Jesus and his life and his death and resurrection apply to, you know, how I am at work? How does it apply to how I treat my family or treat strangers, or whatever? But um, just to use my imagination and biblical context to get as deep as I can into Jesus's thought life. It was really, really fascinating, and powerful, and emotional. I mean, I believe that Jesus embodies forgiveness of a sort that we can just hardly even understand. And so my attempt to, you know, live in that as best as I could for that moment when Judas is walking towards me, it was very emotional,
Mm.
really powerful, and gave me a whole different experience of my own faith, but and just who historical Jesus, you know, is, and um, yeah, that was probably the most surprising part of working on the film for me.
Yeah, wow, that would be a huge moment for sure. Because you think about, you know, if in our humanness, if somebody would betray you in whatever
Mhm.
way they betray you, you might forgive them, but you're not going to forget it, right?
Yeah, right.
And so, so they,
Or I might
yeah,
not forgive them, to be honest with you. Like I might be
exactly.
real mad.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Jonathan. You know, Jonathan is not, you know, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You might not forgive them. And so
Hmm.
if you've got this person walking up to you about to kiss your cheek, you might shove them away. You
Hmm.
might not just embrace what's happening.
Yeah.
And so for Jesus to so quickly, so readily, so gracefully,
Mhm.
so mercifully behave the way that he did and react the way that he did, very emotional. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's
I love
right. I
that you
mean, just
shared that.
that much forgiveness, and that much love. I mean, I believe it would have saddened Jesus, you know, to the core to see someone doing that. And then, you know, I haven't betrayed anyone as dramatically as Judas betrayed Jesus, but I am a sinner, and I've got some darkness in. I'm a broken, depraved person, and I Jesus's heart breaks for me in that way. Um, and I think I learned that in a new way than I have before, because of playing this movie.
All
Mhm.
right. So Kim has a love question for both of you guys. Go ahead, Kim, with your love question.
Yeah, so I decided I was going to figure out the true meaning of love because God is love, right? And so I figured if you could live love, it would be living the way that God would want us to live. And so I took a year, I dedicated a year, and I used 1 Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, and took one word or phrase a month and really dove into it and lived it. I was in Haiti most of the time while I was doing it. And the things I learned about love just rocked my world. It changed everything for me. And
Cool.
so love is everything, right? I mean, love is everything. But I'm curious for you guys, what is love for you separately, and what does it mean for you together?
Mm. Well, first of all, what a worthy endeavor. Oh my goodness. I've never heard anybody say that they've done that before. So that's
Oh,
pretty
and
spectacular.
Cassie, just to let you know, when I go to dinner, I have a hard time committing to an entree. So committing a year to something was out of my comfort zone for sure.
I can relate actually to that. Oh my goodness. Well, that's inspiring. I mean, that's inspiring. Wow, your question is a good one. It's a really
Yeah,
good
great.
question. And I I I think it feeds into something that I try to keep in front of me every day, and that is a spirit of self-examination, which I believe is, the Christian walk. And in that, we continue to discover, like I was talking about Mary and the kind of character that she had, how would we hold up under that scrutiny? And so that to me is love in that we're able to walk our Christian walk with as much of all of those attributes as possible. And the first one for me is kindness. Is kindness really does is something that I have to work for. It doesn't, I don't know that it comes naturally for me. And I think I unfortunately had a little bit of training up in a little more wiliness and for the sake of, it's but maybe the means was supposed to justify the end in some way. So I've had to undo a lot of things. And so kindness would be the focus for me when it comes to love. And then what it means in the everyday life, so that's a personal focus. And then with family, family is at this point in my life, it's everything. It's everything. And I just, it is the greatest joy. And when we happen to have had a family gathering last night here at our house, and the elevation of feelings, of whatever is released when you're feeling really good, really skyrockets for me when I'm doing life with family, present, together, physically present. It really, that is the epitome of love that I can experience here on earth, aside from understanding God's love for me and what he did for me. I don't know if that answers your question.
That's good. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I feel the same way with family. In fact, in a couple of days, I'm leaving for Japan with 13 of some of my kids and grandkids, my kids and
Very
grandkids,
nice.
and which is crazy. But
Wow.
yes, I'm so looking forward to spending 2
Yeah.
full weeks together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know
that's
the
great.
feeling. I know the feeling well. I totally agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Jonathan?
For me, my personal journey with that, where there's been blockers for me between me and love or living love has been forgiveness. When I have had a hard time forgiving, it's just, yeah, I'm not loving, because that's super obvious, but um, when I have, when God has worked on me enough to forgive, as well as ask for forgiveness, and the two are interconnected in some interesting ways. But I get to experience love, and it's just so obvious that that's what God shows us through His Word and through Jesus's life. But it's just so hard to live out sometimes, especially when it's just, yeah, there's just certain areas, I think for me individually, that can be really tough. But yeah, when God has worked on me in those ways, love has like just unleashed and flooded a part of my heart that maybe was blocked off before. You know, just experience it more fully. And family is a really wonderful context for that to happen. One of the wonderful things about family is that you're committed to each other or stuck with each other. And so that it's sort of like, well, forgive or ask for forgiveness or be miserable. Like those are your two choices. So, with friends, I can kind of detach. I can, I can stop calling. I can, whatever, even if it does eat at me or it's not the healthiest approach, just it's easier to avoid. And with family, you don't get those options. I think that's a blessing, especially within the context of marriage, where, you're living together all the time. And it's like, okay, figure this out, humble thyself, or be miserable. And yeah, I think God just works in amazing ways and teaches me his love in that context quite a lot. So that's what it is for me. And then, you know, so with in the movie 47 Days with Jesus, that moment I described with me and Judas, that was a moment of forgiveness. And there's a moment with Peter at another scene where it's all about forgiveness. And then there's a moment with Pontius Pilate, who is exercising his power and arrogance and authority. And Jesus gets to again live out forgiveness. And then the way that all those things, and that carried me through as an actor. It became kind of my like anchor for doing the role. And then I got to see, like I was saying earlier, when I saw the full movie, I got to see all of that forgiveness stuff in the Jesus part. That's like the key to what's going on in the modern day family drama that we get to see unfold. There's like, there's issues like overworking and neglecting your family and being rude to somebody, but like all those things it's like the thing over and above all those issues is forgiveness. And it just comes through in such a powerful way with the relationships in the family in the movie.
All right. Best place we can watch the movie. Where can we go?
Good
Well,
question.
right now it's getting ready to be released on DVD. So if you want to order it, you can go to, I believe, Amazon, Walmart. You can pre-order it right now. It's coming out June 11th. And I'll tell you, I want to say, I know I can even hear the eye rolls right now of a DVD, but I'll tell you, people are starting to understand the difference in quality of when you are watching a project that's been how it's been perfectly rendered and just beautifully filmed, and you get that full quality when you have it on DVD as opposed to streaming. Now I'm not saying it's not enjoyable on streaming. It's easier and all that, and it will come out on streaming, I believe, at the end of the summer. I'm not sure of that date, but right now you can own it. And I would tell people, go get it, because this is a family film. And like Jonathan was saying, all of these aspects of the beautiful aspects of forgiveness and love and family it's a beautiful tapestry that's interwoven in this film. And there's a lot of kids in the film too, who do a beautiful job. And children, this is a real family film that families can watch together. And you know how kids are, and grandkids, they want to watch something over and over again. So it's worth it to go get the DVD and then, hopefully, I think a lot of people still have their DVD players. I know we do.
No,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. So thanks again, Cassie. Thanks again, Jonathan. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.